Hi, this is Bruce Rawles, and I'm speaking today with Craig Villarrubia, who is a well-known course student and teacher. And he and I are both going to be newbies to the Weekend of Freedom Retreat. This is the fifth annual one coming up in June, the 16th through the 19th, a 4-day, even though it says weekend, it's really 4 days. Feature creep, I guess, but enhancement. Anyway, it's happening in Estes Park, Colorado. And I'm completely enthused, as I suspect Craig probably is too, to be participating in this auspicious event. And the other folks that people will be familiar with are Gary Renard, Cindy Lora-Renard, David Hoffmeister, Dove Fishman, Lori Coburn, yours truly, and Craig, and Maria Felipe, and so we have an interesting assortment of course folk, and probably a whole lot of other folks that will appear as we start gathering the momentum. And I'm particularly fond of Estes Park. I like going there just as a tourist. I've been there a few times, and it's just a beautiful area. And I understand there's lots of recreational facilities like a swimming pool and outdoor activities galore, and all kinds of great stuff. In addition to the purpose of the retreat, which of course is to basically just be with each other and share our insights and inspirations about A Course in Miracles, that beloved blue book that we have been drawn to help us undo our ego identities and have fun in the process. So welcome, Craig, and I'm thrilled that you're going to be there too. I've enjoyed your documentary. We were just chatting about that a moment ago, and a lot of the other work that you've done. It's fun to see all these contributions online, isn't it? And where it's all hitting. So anyway, without further ado, since I can ramble, please tell us your thoughts about this weekend retreat, and anything that comes to mind in terms of what you might want to say about it. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Bruce, for having me. And like I'm really excited about visiting Estes Park and certainly joining with Mighty Companions and with you and with David and Gary and everybody else who's going to be there, Maria. It's really exciting for me. I think that as we look at the title of the weekend, it's a weekend of freedom, it just really, kind of hits the aim of really what we're all desiring in our heart, which is an experience for which we are free, where we're no longer carrying any thoughts of worry, where we're no longer carrying any thoughts of separation, where we are no longer bound to this idea that we are vulnerable. So when I think about this weekend of freedom retreat, it just feels so right and so good to emphasize this experience of freedom that we all come to join and strengthen the idea of it. As the Course says, is where one or more gathered, and as we share these ideas of truth, we all stand to benefit from this joining. So I'm really excited to just be with other Mighty Companions, and I have no doubt that what will be shared in the form of talks, discussions, and so forth, that's all just going to just really support our awakening.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure it will unfold very organically, and even though I'm sure there will be people that have things that they want to share in advance, as usually happens, there's a lot of spontaneity and synchronicity that just happens that events like this encourage and foster. So I think it's going to be a blast, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And just the whole nature of the idea of taking a block of time like 4 days and setting it aside to be in a beautiful part of the planet and with like-minded folk and just hanging out, even if we didn't say a word, which is not likely. the osmotic camaraderie, the vibes that we share with each other by the presence of why we're here together in this kind of an environment, I think will precipitate some interesting things. And that that usually is what happens, in study groups and meetings like this. And so to have an intensive of 4 days of this, I think will be a really unique and wonderful experience. And I think the lineup is fabulous, as well as the locale. So anyway, very much looking forward to it. Is there anything else that you'd like to comment on, and as far as and I totally resonate with your thoughts about the freedom, because it's really shifting the emphasis from the dream figure to the dreamer of the dream, from the hero of the dream, as the Course puts it, to the spectator in the audience that is watching with continued amusement at our serial adventures, as the Course puts it, and not taking them quite so seriously. The tiny mad idea that the Craigness or the Bruceness or whatever else is that we might identify with is the real deal, and it's like maybe, just maybe, there's a little bigger question mark emerging from that inquiry these days. So, and what a great opportunity to explore that with each other and find all the different ways that we can come at that understanding and that inquiry together. So,
yeah, and as you just shared with all the different people who are coming to share, I think what we'll find is, there's like a teacher for everyone. So everyone will have an opportunity to hear from different teachers who are all pointing to the same place. We're all, there's an awareness of, what is true. What we are gathering for that purpose. We're all coming together because we all recognize that there's something bigger than this separate self-identity. And in this group, as I'm looking at all the teachers, Gary Renard is very different from a David Hoffmeister. It's very different from a Craig, which is very different from a Bruce, and so forth. But somehow the symphony, it's like we come together, and this symphony is played in such a way that everybody walks away with this depth of insight that can only have been brought together in such a forum. And I loved what you shared, when you said something about the organic, I think you used the word organic nature of how it all unfolds. Mm-hmm. This is really a weekend of, handing it over to the Holy Spirit and watching what unfolds with the purpose already set in place. Mm-hmm. So it's like, here we are, we're going to this weekend event, whether you're teaching, quote unquote, or you're participatory, we're all equals. So the effect or the result or the product of this whole weekend is shared equally.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter, and what comes through is going to be organic, or what would be led by the Holy Spirit. So there's excitement in the what's going to show up for me, like what's going to appear during this weekend. So I'm looking forward to that experience too. And these going to see David and Gary, they were in my movie. And so I certainly look forward to seeing them. I haven't seen Gary in quite some time. I haven't seen David actually, that's not true. I saw David recently, but I haven't gotten a chance to sit with him in a forum like this. So this is really exciting to see how, Spirit has brought us all together, how Spirit is, used this forum to extend and communicate, and also how we're all going to experience the effects of our equality. So even there are teachers at the, seemingly teachers that'll be there. At the end of the day, we all share in the benefits of the sonship.
Mm-hmm. And in addition to the intent behind that, there's also, interestingly enough, a form that is being suggested, and I think is planned to be part of the whole program, is these roundtables where there may be some short presentations, but the emphasis is really on dynamic interaction among all the participants. And so there'll be plenty of opportunities for everyone to participate. And to basically manifest the reality that we're all teachers and students, and there really is no difference. And like you say, the equality. The conversation I had with Dove Fishman yesterday around this was very inspiring as well, because that whole premise is really what undoes the belief in separation. The idea that differences are important is ego's turf galore, and when we have an opportunity to look at that and see all the specialness issues that we make around things, and how we make big deals out of lesser than, greater than, different than, other than, it's all a perfect classroom, isn't it, for us to forgive the dreamer and to say, oh yeah, that doesn't mean anything, like those early workbook lessons suggest. Yeah. So
It's
anyway.
beautiful that you pointed that out. It's because a lot of times when we talk about like retreats or events like this, there is a tendency, and I know in my experience when I've been on, and I've been on many retreats, like I'm sure perhaps you have as well,
Mhm.
you know, there's a tendency to think that there is someone who has something that I don't, and sometimes this teacher-student thing sets it up in such a way as someone having something that I don't. And that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the word teacher, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with someone giving a lecture or teaching. But when we can come into the awareness that really what is being sought is equally shared, then there's a recognition that there isn't something I'm going to get from somebody else, but together we can come to recognize what we all already have. And so I like this idea of this weekend freedom retreat, and this is part of the freedom, the idea of freedom, because as long as I need to get something, I'm not free.
Right.
There's a seeking there. But one of the great things, and you hinted on it, and I have not yet experienced it, but I do look forward to it. It is this idea of the round tables, which I think is very unique in my mind, very unique in this retreat setting, because I've never seen it myself. But I do have an appreciation for this round table in which we're coming together as equals, and really what the prize, if you will, the peace, the love, whatever word you want to put it, the prize is the same. It is the same for all of us. And so the recognition of that is just really the icing of the cake, and to be able to see it and experience it together with teachers, students, and everybody at the round table. I'm really looking forward to that.
Me too. Yeah, it's all about shared interests, isn't it? And looking for ways to help each other dissolve the belief that separation could possibly have happened, except in a particularly suspect dream. Yeah. Well, thank you, Craig. Is there anything else you want to share with folks before we sign off for this particular conversation?
I'm thrilled. And yeah, I just can't wait to see you there. I can't wait to see everybody there.
Likewise, very much so. So this is Bruce Rawles. I've been speaking with Craig Villarrubia. We'll both be at the Weekend of Freedom Retreat in Estes Park, Colorado, this coming June, the 16th through the 19th of 2016, just a few months away at the time of this recording. And the website is weekendoffreedomretreat.org, and you can find all the information you need there, and contact information, how to register, all that good stuff. And we look forward to seeing you. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you, Bruce.